Okay, can you all see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So for QA, we use TMJ tool, and it's important in JIRA that you need to know what's the project. So my project name is Consumer Channel Application, and if we assign ourselves stories in backlog. Open it. Okay. Let's say this is a story. When you click it, oh, they're already assigned. Let's see. So this is story. We can assign stories by clicking edit. And there must be a name here. As you can see, this is a QA assignee, and then my name is right there. You can assign your stories. And when you click on the board, so one is a consumer channel application board, which is for developers. And there's another board, which is for QA in JIRA. It's a little bit different from TFS. It takes a little bit of time to get used to it. There's the QA board. Oh, let me go on the active sprint. So this is a QA board. As you can see, this is my name. I have 18 issues assigned to me. In JIRA, everything is issue. Even if it's an iteration bug, a story, it will be assigned to you. So there are two ways to create test cases. But before you start creating test cases, we need to create folders on any application you work on. So click on test. And here are, as you can see, these are the folders. You can create your folder on any of the application you work on. I work on Manhem. I work on all these applications. So I created all these folders. And then you can create your regression suite folder here. It's really easy. Click create and write, let's say I will write test, I'll delete it later. Check mark. As you can see, I create a folder. It can be any of your application, and you can create subfolder under this. Click on this, add subfolder, test 1. So as you can see under this test, I create a subfolder. So this is very important to create folders before we start working on test cases. Okay, so the next step is I click on QA board. Let's say, as you can see, QA board has the planning, swimming line, testing, demo, and past demos. Any iteration bug, if when we are done testing it, and it will straight go to, we don't need to demo any iteration bugs, it will go straight to done. But once we finish testing, we move it to demo, and then you can demo it. So let's say I click one of the story in testing. So I told you there are two ways to write test cases. As you can see, this is a story about some category images. It's a very simple story. So you can see this is a new test case. Click here. Write your title here. So you can write your title here. I usually don't write objective or precondition. If you have any precondition, you can write it here. And I showed you that we created some folders. When you click here, my folder is ADW, which is Auto Discount Warehouse side. Click here. Status is approved. We don't need to touch it. Component is also, again, since I work with so many applications, it's important for me to click on the right application. And in label section, you can write regression. This is for regression, or you can write smoke test here. So later you can pull all the all the test cases for regression if you want to. And here is another one. This is a manual testing, or manually you're testing it. And if it requires automation, you can do automation also. And it is important to put it in your sprint. So my sprint is 5520. So this is the first part. And it's important, if you are stepping out from this page, if you don't click save, it will not save. I always click save on everything. So the next step is test script. Let's say login. I'm being really precise here. So this is a test script, as like all the test cases are, once you write all the steps here, you can just click tab, tab, tab. It goes in the next line. And you can attach files here, or you can, if you have any screenshot, you can just drag it here too. Let me see if I have any screenshot. Oh. And if you have any screenshot, you can just drag it and put it here also and hit save. It will save. So you cannot execute test case from here. I will show you how to execute it once we save it. Traceability is attached to your story, that this test case is attached to your story, and my story number is CCA 732. If you create test cases from the story, what happens is automatically do the traceability for you. You don't need to do anything. So save it. And go back. Okay. So as you can see, I created first test case right here. You can execute it by click here, click on the environment. Let's say it's a QC environment, click start. You can see, okay, you can run test cases from here, like step by step, like each step. What I usually do to save my time, click here, put my time, let's say 0025. It took me 5 minutes. I'm not saving it since I'm not running it. Click pause, and it will show a green light. Or let me do it. We can run it too. I will delete it later. Yeah. Right. Go back. As you can see, it's become green, means that this test is executed. Okay, so we created one test case here. And to clone this test case, or you want to make another copy of it, what you need to, we cannot clone from here. So you can create test cases by clicking it all this way. Just give me a second. Okay, so this is one way of creating test case. The second way is this: you click on test. My folder is ADW 2.0, and I click on the last page. As you can see, this is the test case which I created right here. You can create test case. Another way of doing test cases: click new and start creating your test case the way we did it. You write the title, fill up all the, pick your folder, component, which is your application. Same way, pick your sprint, write the steps. Only thing we need to remember is traceability. It will not do traceability automatically since we are on TMJ, another tool. To do the traceability, you click here and pick your application, pick your project, which is CCA, which is Consumer Channel Application, and then you write anything, like, whatever story you want to attach this test case with. So it will do automatically traceability for you. Let's go back. And also in TMJ, you can import like an Excel file. There's a way it tells you how to create an Excel file to import all the test cases. Same way you see test case right now, the scripts, the way they have it, you have to create test cases that way. So you can import a lot of test cases from Excel sheet too. Okay, so this is the second method. And there's another way to clone it or copy your test case. So this is the test case which I created, ADW category test. Click here, click more, clone. We go back on the page. As you can see, it gives me another clone one, a copy. Now you click on this one, you can change anything. You can write your test case, you can change the steps, it will not impact anything. So these are the two ways of creating test case. One from the story, and another way is click on test, click on your folder of the application, and do the test case. Okay, now I will show you how to create iteration bugs. So this is my board, which I picked a QA board. My application name is CCA. It's important that we know our application and our sprint. I'm in an active sprint right now. To create an iteration bug, you click create. These are the issue types shows here, iteration bugs, or do you want to create a bug? Do you want to create epic, story, spike, anything? Whatever you pick, it will do it for you. So let's say iteration bug. And summary, you need to, and you see three headers here, detail, description, and acceptance criteria. In summary, you write the iteration bug. Okay. So this, you write the title here. I do not write anything on end user description. You make sure that you pick your sprint. My current sprint is CCA 5520. Scroll down. I don't fill up the link issue, but issue is whatever story you want to attach your iteration bug to. Iteration bugs are attached to the stories, and bugs are the separate bugs. Means that they're not part of any of the stories in your sprint. They're just, let's say if while testing anything, they come on the way. So we create a bug and it will go back in the backlog. But right now, this is an iteration bug. It should attach to a story. It's important. Let's say this was my issue. And then I don't worry about these fields, story points. Priority is medium, up to you. You want to set up, it's by default set up on medium. Application, my application is ADW. Let me order this warehouse. Okay, this is my application. Label is mostly like, some of your applications will set on like ask, or if you want to fill it up to you. If you don't, that's okay. It's up to the team. Everybody do differently. And I leave all these fields, but I do pick up my component, which is auto discount warehouse. I make sure it is assigned to a developer. Assignee will be, let's say for this one, I know it's a Robert. So this is my Sunny. You can put your name, QA Madish. Okay. I put my first initials. You can assign to yourself, or you can let any other QA pick it up. Environment, which environment you are testing it. My environment is QC environment right now. Is it found by QA or any developer or BA? You can QA testing. And root cause. Is it a design issue? Is it a development listing issue? These are very important. These two fields, found by and create defect root cause, is important. So once you're done with this, roll it up. It's a little bit more work than TFS to write iteration bugs. But once you get used to it, you'll be fine. It's not hard at all. So once you're done with this, click on the description, write whatever description you want steps to reproduce. You can attach, or you can put any screenshots in it, and then click create. It will create an iteration bug on your board. I will not create it right now. I will cancel it, but I will show you I've created one bug, and I'll show you how I created it and what I did to it.
Couple of quick notes in there. The importance of the root cause that she had down below, where defect in coding. There's also missed requirements, where maybe we demoed it and it wasn't demoed correctly. It wasn't what they wanted. The requirements were bad. Maybe we just missed the requirements when we were coding it. Things like this. So we're going to obviously work a little bit different in our process since we don't have dedicated QA resources, but it is important that when we test something, if we find something not working, to document it as best we can, which she's going to show you next. Sorry, Mavis, just wanted to interrupt on that.
No, that's fine. Thank you. So I created an iteration bug, which I tested it. It's done, but I want to show you how it will come once you are done writing created the iteration bug. So when I created the title comes on the top here, and that will show on your board also. And as you can see, the type is iteration bug, medium. My component, which is LKQ Online, is my application, and it's a QC environment. The sprint is showing here. If you don't pick up the sprint, your iteration bug will lost somewhere. It will go somewhere else. So make sure pick up your correct sprint. And found by QA, defect root cause, design and code issue. So in the description where I was showing you, you can write steps to, I created this bug, so I want to show it to you. Steps to reproduce, how we reproduce it, what happens, all the steps here. And then you can just put screenshots here. As you can see, I put a lot of screenshots here for more clarifications. And what else? And by clicking on edit, you can edit any information in it, anything, your name or any description you want to change, you can change it here. So this is the way we create an iteration bug. The other is how to create bugs is exactly the same way. You just pick a different issue type, click bug, and when you fill up all the fields, required fields, or you put your title here, make sure you pick your issue. Issue is your story. It's or is it attached to any story or not? It depends. This is a bug. You pick the application, where did you find it? And label will depend on team to team what they want to do. Component is, let's say my application was LKQ Online. You find it on what environment, found by, everything exactly same. Description. So once you create a bug, it will go back to your backlog. I'll click backlog and show it to you. So once you create a bug, it will go really at the bottom. I did not create a bug right now since it will show on the board. So once you create anything, any bug, it will go at the bottom of the page. What I do, I drag it, click on it and drag it like usually all the way uh, up here so it is noticeable. And also when I create bug, I assign it to any BA of my team. So BA know that we have created a bug. So that's how we create the bug. Any questions?
You can also right click on the line. If you right click on any of those in there, Navish, no,
Okay.
right, just,
Oh,
no, no. Right in the middle of that line, just right click anywhere that doesn't show words. There you go.
oh, okay.
Send to top of backlog. You can also do that to make it easy.
Oh, yes. This is another way. Yeah, you can do like that too. And yeah, and also like, when you click here, I'm in backlog. I click on the story. I didn't double click it, but click one time. It will pop up on the right side of the page. You can assign, why there's nothing. You can assign it to yourself. Any story bugs by click on edit and put your name under, they must be here. Okay, click people and you can put your name right here and update it. It will show you as a QA here. So that's how we do it. So any questions, please?
What about impediments? We talked about impediments with the dev team of being able to put something is blocked by. Do you ever have an impediment that comes up with QA?
Well, I usually
You're unable to do something because of something else or anything like that?
impediment. Yeah, there's another way to do impediment.
It's under the linked issues, I believe, when you can do block by.
Oh, linked issues, Epic link.
Right here, link, right? Yeah, down one more, linked issues. One more. There you go.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, is
Oh,
blocked
yeah.
by. Yeah, that's where you could do it as well. This bug blocks something else? Now, the only time you'll use an impediment is if you can link it to another story or another bug or something along those lines. And the impediment is a one-to-one correlation. So if I have a bug and it is stopping me, or I have a story, it is stopping other people from doing something, it would block something. If I'm unable to complete this job or this work because of something else, I would put this story is blocked by, and then link that other story or issue, I should say, that is blocking progress on it. Like I said, it doesn't stop anybody from doing any work on it. It's just a notification flag that says we need to make sure that we check something else to make sure it's done, or this needs to be done before something else is completed. It's just basically a reminder. Good question. Any other questions out there?
Not for now.
Okay.
Yeah, please have any question, let me know also. And also, like, when we were working on TFS, we had a lot of test cases, and our manager, he moved a lot of regression suites to JIRA. Let's say I created this regression suite here, and I have a lot of applications under it. And give you an example of, you can create folders, subfolders here, and you can drag E1. One more thing I want to show you. Let's say, let me pick one, Carby. I click here and what is that? So this is the Carby application. When I created the test case, you can check mark it and then you can move it to the regression suite from here too. You don't have to like do anything else. Just move it and it will go over here in the regression suite, wherever you want to put it. If I click here, I can just move it here. I will delete it later. This is not the right way I want to move it to, but yeah, this is another way to move your test cases to regression suite. Or you can copy and move it, or just drag it here.
like I said, we're not going to have a dedicated QA resource at this particular time. The test cases is something I think is very valuable, especially if we have some complicated things that we want to get documented for future test cases, especially for regression and things like this. I believe this will be very important for the migration to SL10 down the road, to have test cases in place where we can go in and just run, certain things that we know that we're going to be running on anything that we're working on. We will not be using the BA board, I'm sorry, the QA board as it's outlined here. In the short term, we may long term. For now, we'll be basically using just the sprint board to move things through the process, but we will be able to create a QA board for test cases and things like this. But all in all, everything that she mentioned, the iteration bugs is critical, test cases is critical, how to create it, how to make sure we link it to the appropriate issue. An iteration bug is anything we find during the sprint related directly to sprint work. Bugs are related to anything outside of the current sprint work. That was a big sticking point we had to figure out for a while. But as we get through this more and more, I think you'll see how this all comes together, and it should be coming together now for you with the BA, the dev, and the QA portion of it. So do we have any other questions for Mavish?
And it's important, when we create a test case, it shows that as a QA, we really work on that story. Otherwise, there is no proof. So I always make sure I write the test cases, and test cases are step-to-step instructions to the requirement. There is no hard and fast rule to write one test case or 10 test case. Test cases, as far as they are covering all the scope of the story and all the aspects of the story, that's a good test case. And you're not missing any parts. And also one more thing, as a QA, it's important to put your time I use Tempo, my work. I'll show you my board. It's important to put your hours here. It's very important. So let's say I click here, today's Wednesday, click log time, whatever issue you're going to work. Let's say I will work on this, click here. If you have a set time, let's say I work 1 hour on it. As a tester, you need to click testing here, click log time, it will show you time here. So it's important to do tempo also. So that's all for me.
Tempo replaces burning down hours in TFS. So we will no longer log hours on a story at the beginning and say it's going to take us 12 hours. We'll just log work directly to the JIRA ticket every day. So that's kind of how that replaces that on a one-on-one basis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Any questions you have to create test case? I can show you many times.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think we're good, Mavish.
Okay.
Mavish has been very generous with her time. I want to say thank you, Mavish. If we have any questions, I'll make sure that they reach out to me and I get them to you if I can't answer them. And really appreciate you helping us out. Any last minute questions or comments from Mavish before I let her go?
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. You're very kind. I think that as soon as we get the process, we'll be familiar with it. So thank you so much for your time, Mavish.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime you have any questions, please let me know. It looks like really monstrous. Even when we started, I was like, it's totally different from TFS. And it is little bit time taking to write iteration bugs or test cases than TFS. But trust me, it's not tough at all. It's not hard at all. You'll be fine.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, Mavish, again, thank you so much for your time. I truly appreciate you. We'll let you get back to your regular job.